So let me know. Tell me what it takes to be a hero, let me know. Tell me what it takes to be a hero, let me know. Tell me what it takes to be a hero, let me know. Just let me know. I think that I should ask Mr. Watson. 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 So let me know.
Welcome back to video number 2 on my map to making comics. In this video, we're going to be looking closer at the script and the layout process. And kind of mixing it up with some editorial stuff. I'll have an example that should be popping up at any moment of what the script looks like on Google Drive, with my editor Danny Cooper giving his feedback and kind of us having a back and forth versus the layouts. So we got page number 1 of Hotshot number 10, Unforgiven Part 1. In this first page, we have page 1 at the very top in bold, and then I established now, elsewhere is the situation, kind of the establishing panel. So there always has to be, when you're in a scene, an establishing panel to let us know, the viewer, or let your viewer know, the reader, where we're at. Even if you're not saying the exact place of where we're at, we're giving the area, the description, so they know, they have a sense of where it's at, you know? And I've broken this down into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 panels. Now, some of the stuff that you see up here in this example, like in panel 1, says, Link is on the run. She is out of breath and lost. She will not be caught again. Her environment is cold and dark. The walls are high-tech and grand. She is sneaking, trying not to be caught. Now, this highlighted issue right here, that brings up the first question that Danny Cooper, the editor-in-chief of Freestyle Comics, asks. Is this the same person we see at the end of issue 8? And I respond, yes. Yes, it is. So by highlighting this in Google Drive, you can ask a specific question, and it will be like an email notification, even if I'm not on it, to let me know, and I can respond to it. Now, if you notice the way that I wrote this, I give some description of what's going on and how the character's feeling. Now, some of that stuff won't even be written as dialogue. Like, I'm not going to say that she's not trying to be caught, because even if I wasn't the person drawing it, I want to try to give that artist that will be drawing it the sense of that they have some control, some say in how this panel is going to be drawn. I want to give them enough of the information to be able to draw the panel, you know what I'm saying? Add the effects, add the camera angle, add the feel to it. In the next panel, panel number 2, checking her surroundings, Link wants to ensure she's not caught again. She has no idea where she is or where she's going. She just knows she needs to get out of here. And then right under that, in the center, we put Link in all caps with a dash. This is an actual dialogue line. Just how big is this place? Panel 3. She tries to, in quotations, link with someone she may know. She uses her powers to see if she can get a sense of her teammates or friends. Focuses with all of her might. She is struggling. Sweat upon her brow, she focuses her powers as best she can. Link, dialogue again. I have not been able to link with anyone from the team. Now, this is the editorial note that Danny's putting in here. He's highlighted in this purplish pink. We were all at the battle except Justice. And then he kind of had some other stuff that he crossed out that he didn't like. Now, this is the reason you want to have an editor, because Danny wants to bring some resemblance of where this character was prior, even if we don't know as the reader where this character was, because we don't. But this little peg here saying Justice, well, we've said who Justice is in the series before. So if you've been following the book, you're like, Justice? This character knows Justice. So that kind of gets the alarm going, gets you on your senses. Like, so who is this character, the Justice, and what battle are they talking about? Panel 4. We see the realization of it come across her face, that she is so far from help that no one is around, or that her team, her friends, and family may be all dead. Link. There's no mines in this area. That means I'm at least a mile from anyone, or no one survived. Again, another add-in from Danny Cooper to add the stress of her situation. Panel 5. Close up on her eyes as she catches a silver, should be sliver, of something. Eyes opening wide, and she sees it. Link says, no. 6. A guard dog. On the prowl, but unlike any dog she's ever seen. Sniffing for possible fresh meat. Link pushes up against the wall. Back touching the cold dark metal, she's scared. The metal makes her remember the table she was laid on. The table that brought so much pain. Link says, what the hell was that? Link, I gotta keep moving. I can't get caught. I gotta find a way out of here, wherever here is. I can't let them put me back on that table. Link, gotta get help. Do something. If I can find my communicator, I can call the director. So all these things that Link is saying are things that we're not used to, we don't know about, but it's getting us information to start asking, what's happening? What is this character talking about? What does this character need? Panel 7. Then she's caught, and all the fear of her past and pain is brought back to her face. Link says, too late. So now, in looking at this page, with all the edits on here, this page is, in written form, supposed to be 7 panels. But when we actually look at the art form of this page ends up being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 panels. The cool thing about being the writer and the artist on here is that I get to litigate both of these things and what's happening. So I can make these adjustments kind of on the whim. When I did the layout, originally it didn't work. So I went back in here and made some adjustments to it. In our establishing panel, you'll see here that I have the wall, which is going to be silhouetted dark black, and our character really small to give that grand high-tech wall. As far as the high-tech thing, you see all these buildings in the background. She's in space. She's in a place she does not recognize. So the scenery is going to be that, and that is grand. I put a little circle around here. It's kind of like a panel insert with this little circle with an arrow to a bigger circle that shows her face as she turns around, because she's just been alerted. She heard something. Without really saying that she heard something, this facial expression and her back being to us and her turning gives a sense that she heard something and she's checking for it. Almost just like, kind of like that. Like that. I'm not the best actor, so don't judge me. In our next panel, she's running down the hallway. I chose an angle that was kind of like a fisheye lens, to give a sense of urgency. Alright, so now in our next panel, she's supposed to be using her powers. So I zoom in on her face and furrowed her brow, and her eyes are tight, and she's got her hands on her head, like she's trying to focus very hard to use her powers. Next panel, zoom in closer, her eyes are wide open, kind of like sweat dripping off her face, to give that sense of realization that her powers are not working. That there's no one in her range. If there's no one within a mile, and she's in an unknown space, that's a scary feeling. She's in space somewhere, and none of her teammates are around her for at least a mile. That could potentially mean they're dead, because she can't link with any of their minds. In the next panel, again, we do that kind of whip around. And I put it at an angle to guide our eye to the next panel. And she says no, whispers it, because she hears something. She hears a sniff. Now, the cool thing about this is when you're doing these layouts, you got to consider the text that's going to be there. The text is just as important as the art. So what I want to do here is kind of add a sniff to the bottom of this panel so it's low, and kind of a build up. In the next panel, we have her hiding in the shadows, and we have in the foreground a snout with a nose and a paw and a claw sniffing around. Because this dog is sniffing, I don't want to reveal exactly what the dog is looking like, or looks like, kind of build up that suspense. Then in the very next panel, from the shadows, Link gets snatched up. She's captured by another mysterious figure who is everywhere man, that grabs her and slams her up against the wall. And when she's up against the wall, all the fear of what happened to her and being caught resurfaces in her mind, and she doesn't want that to happen again. So working on that layout, those were the adjustments, and that's where we're at right now with that page. Let's see. Page 2 here. Alright, so page 2, which is a regular page. So this is where we actually give a destination. We say Cleveland, Ohio, because that's where this takes place. And in this panel, this actually starts off as 5 panels, but then in the layout, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it becomes 8 panels. Again, I'm making these adjustments as I go because I want to make sure we're telling the story the best way we can. Now, because this is a new scene, I do another establishing panel in this. And in this scene, we have Mike's old house. We have Mike's old house in the background, and in the foreground, we have this figure who is going to be revealed to be IT. And now, the next panel, we go into the house, and we're in a hallway, kind of at a jaunted, jaded angle to add to the mystery of it. And we have another figure here with some curly hair, kind of hinting that that's little Mike. We get closer to this door that's open down the hallway with little Mike, and then we flip the camera around in the next panel. IT is now in the building watching what's happening. Little Mike's unaware, but he's very curious because there's these sounds coming from the door and someone's in pain. We zoom in on IT, who is super curious because this is kind of something that's new. He's never been in one of the hero's dream segments. In the next panel, we show little Mike's hand approaching the door. And in the mirror, because the bathroom is right next to this door, you see Hotshot's reflection, not little Mike's. Hotshot's reflection. I wanted to do that as a subtle change because in the next panel, Hotshot's thrown back, Mike, aka Mike, thrown back as the door is slammed shut in front of him. Then now because of that subtle change, on page 3, we see now that Mike is in the Hotshot costume. Now this page is 9 panels, and on this page it actually is 9 panels. We see Hotshot is now on the floor, collapsed. IT is standing behind him, still not saying anything. Hotshot gets up, cocks his fist back, and throws a punch at the door hard. The door does not budge. Now I want you to notice that in this page, I have Hotshot kind of running at this angle. It's almost like he's running at the next panel. Then the third panel, he's angled down and punching down, which guides us to the next panel. Little subtle eye control to bring your reader and tell your reader where you want him to go. The door doesn't budge from that punch. So now Hotshot stands back and fires a blast at it. The blast bounces right off of it. Hotshot is curious now, like, what the heck? Come on, why won't this door open? And he kind of gets into a little pose where he's like, all right, this is it. It's the move. I need to use that super move that saved my life before. And so he starts to form his hands to gather energy. And then this last panel, because the sounds are getting worse, this person is in trouble on the other side. They're being hurt very badly. And so the urgency within Hotshot is building up. So, editor note, I had this wasn't originally broken up like this, but I decided to make this 3 panels per Danny's choices or request. And we have one panel to focus in on the blast being generated. The second panel to focus in on his arms and his chest and the strain of that energy. And a third panel just to focus on his face for his emotion, his fear, his determination, him being scared. And then, this is also what we call a page turn reveal. So what we've done on both these pages, if we look back at the previous second page, Hotshot being knocked back because that door's being shut, that's guiding your eye off the page and subconsciously telling you, oh shoot, what's happening? Let me turn the page. Then we go back again, and he's getting ready to throw this energy which is why the editor came in, Danny, and asked me to extend this to 3 panels instead of the 2 that I had on there. Because, again, we're creating another page turn reveal. We're building up the moment. We're building up the anticipation. Like, oh my God, this is about to be epic. That's about to happen. So you turn the page, and you're on the edge of your seat wondering what's happening. So I'm going to stop the video there, and I'll catch you in the next one. We'll go further into this process of script versus layouts and how that process works. I hope this is helping you put your script and your layouts together. Again, give me a follow on any of my social media if you have any questions. Art of Mike Watson, FS Comics, Freestyle Comics on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and I think Tumblr as well. Or you can email me, fscomics, fskomics @gmail.com. Thank you, and see you in the next class.